Okay, second video. This is actually, I just sent you the announcement with the welcome again and syllabus review video, so just click on that and if you haven't already and watch it. So this second video is actually specifically going to be going over week one for the modules. Me? All right, so modules. And obviously, you are going to be looking at this stuff. So make sure if you have not, you review all these things. I'm guessing you have, since this is a 600 level course. Here's a whole list of all the major assignments, and so where you go to upload things accordingly. So you can check that out. You can read about me, and here's a student lounge where you can kind of participate and send information and so on and so forth to me. This is a psychotherapy.net resource. A lot of the videos that we watch are specifically through our subscription to psychotherapy.net, so make sure that you check those out. And here we go. All right, so always start as usual with modules with checking out the week one introduction and the learning resources. Obviously, in terms of videos and readings and so on and so forth, are all linked in here. And we can launch right into the learning activity one. All right, so your first discussion is basically an intro. So record, introduce yourself, where you're doing your placement. Perhaps you've been working in the field. Tell us a little bit about that. What is your experience at all in terms of working with families, either in your own personal, in your job, or in field placement, etc. And that may be just working with 2 people. That may be working with 6 people. That may be working with 12 people. Families come in all shapes and sizes, as you'll find out. But I think you know that. All right, and then talk about the family system in which you were raised. And you can share as much or little as you like, use appropriate boundaries and all that kind of stuff, but also step beyond your comfort zone, push yourself a little bit. So you get a chance to really tell us a little bit about yourself and a role that you may have played in your family and how it might impact your work with your clients in the future. So that's an important piece with regard to self-reflection in terms of you being aware of what this work involves and so on and so forth. And then if you have any burning questions that you would like for me to know, and hopefully that those things can then get answered in that course. All right, so if you've never used this before, Screencast-O-Matic you can use, so watch that video. And there is obviously a response prompt due by Sunday at 11:59. Just respond to one classmate and talk a little bit about one experience that you have that's in common with that classmate, professional, familial, and anything that you appreciate about what they share in their intro. Okay? All right. So that was the first one. All right, second discussion. Initial family therapy session role play. Now, this is where you will actually try to role play with your computer. I know it's a little awkward, and record a 5 to 10 minute video. Basically about things that you might say. So read this case example. It's basically a first session. So you're going to introduce yourself, set the stage, and really role play these 3 segments. How do you start it? How do you join with a family? How do you connect with them? It's one of the big skills that family therapists have to demonstrate. I often ask my students to, over the course of the next week, go out and strike up a 3 to 5 minute conversation with a complete stranger. That could be in the grocery store line, that could be at the bank, that could be when walking your dog, or what have you. So that might be that's kind of a neat experiment, because those are sophisticated skill sets that people have to be able to connect with and develop. Second segment, what do you want to say if they're bickering? How do you intervene? How do you interrupt? How do you kind of redirect? So I would like to kind of hear some of those processes. And third, how might you end the session? How might you resolve it? What kinds of homework might you offer to them to help them meet their goals? All right, and then submit that accordingly. There is a response prompt to at least one classmate. Okay. Number 3, oops, Satir video analysis. All right, so Satir, forgive me, I think I might have given you the wrong assignment there. Oh, I did. I jumped down. Sorry about that. So ignore that last thing. That was the week two discussion. This is the week one discussion, the second discussion. So now you have information about week two. All right. So this is about family systems thinking. So you're going to read the Widener Social Work shared case about a woman named Anita and her family. And you can use this resource to learn more about family systems theory and provide some kind of example how that manifests itself in Anita's family. Select one of the 6 stages in the chapter 1 of the expanded family life cycle. And just as an FYI, this is the resource that you're going to use in your family of origin paper and your final integrative paper with regard to the family life cycle stage that influences the problem that you're discussing. So talk about that problem that they may encounter, completing the task of that stage. Like if we're talking about families with adolescents, let's say, what kinds of, which Anita's is, what kinds of unique developmental factors, boundary testing, rebellion, social awkwardness, peer engagement, all those kinds of things, affect regulation that may affect how you as a social worker might help them. And finally, provide one example of a life cycle challenge faced by either a gay or lesbian family or a remarried family, blended family, as described in these 2 sources. All right? Right. So, and then again, respond to at least one classmate. Sorry, this video wasn't supposed to be this long. Yeah, I'm a talker. All right, so week 1 discussion, Satir video analysis. All right, this is, you are going to go to the learning resources and watch the Virginia Satir video on communication. I believe it's called Working with a Troubled Boy. And you are going to answer these questions. How would you describe the communication style of various family members? What did Satir use herself as a model of healthy communication, or how did she rather? And what are the 2 examples you saw of how she attempted to help members to be healthier communicators with each other? So watch the film and then just pose answers to these questions based on that film. And again, respond to one classmate. Okay. And then the first weekly family therapy theory grid, which is due Sunday, which I've already gone over. So each week in this class, you'll see a unique component, and that is because graduate school is hard and you're taking multiple classes, I'm sure, and have families and jobs, that self-care is really important. So we have these optional self-care activities that are really kind of simple. Things like a short kind of meditation for beginners piece. It's just very good, especially those kinds of things are really good, especially when you're doing this kind of in-depth exploration both about your family of origin, but also how that influences your work with clients in the future. So, all right, so that's enough for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Again, you can email me here on Canvas, or you can email me on Office 365 at BASATTERLY, BASatterly at widener.edu. All right, folks, without further ado, have a great week, and I'll be talking to you.